How you doing, family? Hey, how you doing? This is King Harp. Subscribe to my channel, share my video. I'm here to discuss some more issues and talk about it. Thank you for being a part of my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I want to discuss Black Lives Matter this time. You know, I first of all, I have always known that Black Lives Matter was co-opted. I mean, a year and a half after it got started, almost 2 years, when I and other constituents of mine start to realize Black Lives Matter is something else. It's going in another direction. It was born and built off of the suffering and the heinous crime acts against unarmed black men, like myself, shot by the police. This is its origin. This is how it was built. This is where it was born from. But we understand who built it. We put that apart, the lady, and we understand her and how her ideology and her upbringing was the reason why she wasn't responding the way any of us would have in terms of Black Lives Matter. She wasn't. So, but it gained traction. It had a beautiful name, and Black Lives Do Matter. You know, Black Lives Matter. We know every other life matter, but we was facing the public and want to put a face in the public on Black Lives Matter and being important because police authorities and everyone else was not, that's an authority figure, was not handling black men and women with care as though we mattered. Like, you can commit a crime, but you don't deserve to be killed. We have a system of laws that protect, that have a course of action where you can, put people in jail, give them tickets, not assassinate them. From running from the police or, not complying, you have tasers for that. You have an army for that. You have an entity for that, a government. You have more police that can get involved and you can detain this, person. I mean, black people are not like a wild animal, like a lion or something. We're human, but we are strong. But it's not like, oh, when it comes down to black people, we have to shoot and kill you because you are stronger than we are physically. And I was fearing for my life. That sounds like a white woman. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like a woman particularly would to say that. And these police officers was going around saying, I fear for my life. So we understood that those were manipulative tactics and they just want to harm us. There's systemic racism going on. And there's a space now where it's evolved where it's factual. It's not just our opinion. These are facts, in terms of how we look at it. I mean, you got Tamir Rice, a child. You got right now, Black Lives Matter is built from all of this, what I'm talking about. I mean, built from the sufferings and the hardship of black people. And when you allocate a resource or anchor something powerful like Black Lives Matter, you can begin to facilitate how it moves. And laws are being born in it, in the infrastructure of it, so that you can place funding and money's places. And so that you can build protections, a protection exchange, a protection wall, according to it. That's why it was built. To call order, to call to action, to decrease safety, to ensure protection with a dollar amount even. To just to have that type of legacy to ensure, the safety of unarmed black men is the reason why it started. But then you got people like the Ferguson sector of it out now raising really hell about it and grabbing hold to their self-respect against this organization that was created off of their sufferings in terms of partnering with them, saying, here we are, we got a movement, we protecting, you are the face of this, and you are the born institution from this thing, Black Lives Matter, that was made so popular now, that is designed supposedly for black people, the protection and safety of black people. Well, it has gained entity. It has gained resourceful resources that it's now distributing. It has begun its lawful exchanges because its power. It has gained hundreds of millions of dollars. It's $100 million organization Won't be long before billions are there, if they're not already there. And you pull this together off the face of Michael Brown's son. The father of Michael Brown right now is protesting Black Lives Matter, requesting and demanding his due of safety and honor. And that's $20 million. And I don't blame him. And we got the activist that was harmed due to this systemic racism in the justice system that had been harmed. And Black Lives Matter has not allocated any resource or protection in that sector. People going to jail for no reason. We just had somebody the day before yesterday or something like that, maybe, went to jail in Louisiana, a black guy, where he outran the police. He was committing a crime. But they were so angry with him, they didn't follow the law. Of course, he did put them through a speed chase, and police usually get mad. But you taser people, you put them in jail, and you put that on them as a crime they committed. You don't cut off your camera and take things off your body unlawfully and unprofessional and beat somebody with it and harm them or kill them. That's an execution. Now you got the law in your own hand where you're not executing people before the court can decide, oh, we still executing folks like slavery. This boy could have had a mental health problem. We don't know. We never gave him the opportunity to change. We are in a system that is not shaping our safety and our correction and buffering us into correction. Even those who have problems that could be corrected don't have a chance. You are told as a black person, you make a mistake, you're going to die. I'm going to kill you. And this is where it stops. That is raging war against a people from systemic racism. We are a race of people. The United States made race. This is how we exist in the science. This is how we're anchored over our heads before, without a choice of our own. The United States made race. And according to who we are in race, this is the response we get from how we are anchored and what we can access due to the fact that we have not accessed our capital and the things that the Constitution states. Due to the fact that we've been locked out of that and business camaraderie, and the United States only respect wealth, this is how and what happens, and people treat you when you're not considered to be important. So if the head doesn't respect you, CEO, then who else is going to do it? The body is not. How's the body going to respect you when the brain doesn't? The head. If you get the head, we all know what to follow, right? So as black people, we haven't got the head. That means legislative order, legislative authority, rights, policy. In terms of CEO status and higher above, government. In terms of legislative order, policy. And that means being corrected, protected class, having memos of anchored respect, resourcefully, according to what's owed and due. But we have those things that are due to us, but we have not accessed it. Now we have other groups that are accessing things that are supposed to relegate us to an opportunity and to respect and safety. Wealth is safety. That's what it is. Because now you are safe inside the opportunity of choice. You're safe in community. You're safe in the anchored unit that the United States designed, a race that's a unit. We are a unit, whether we know it or not. And we're here to call to order and to decree unit. We're here to call to order our people, to form unit, the code of conduct. That's why we're here, to call to action. Our children, our family, our people. And this has been a significant place to come. And it's been exchanging. It's been resourceful. It's been beneficial. However, we need more gathering in terms of knowledge, in terms of loyalty, in terms of understanding. Understanding is freedom. And this is what these groups do. They understand something. And they have never been divided to get knowledge, educated about who they are and what they do. Because a lot of times, what black people were institutionalized education. And a lot of other people are too. In terms of what? We don't self-educate. We've been locked out of who we are so that we don't build meticulously. because that's how what you would do to someone that you would consider property. And, slavery is supposed to be over, but yet economically and politically still here, according to what the shaping is now. You shape a people. And this is how people mimic ideas because they haven't been able to choose respect and comfortably. So we've been a different people if we've been able to do that, but not. And so Black Lives Matter is born for the safety of black men and women, black men and children, black people. The origin of Black Lives Matter was built from that. So I'm going to show you, and I'm going to put in my queue and demonstrate to you what has happened to an organization that you wear a t-shirt to. And that we've been doing it, the grassroots and the New Voices of Black Media, we've been aware of this because we follow the content. We are claiming sector in social media. And we've been telling people about it, and it's hard to get our people to see because our people don't understand sometimes. Being programmed, basically, we've been indoctrinated as a society of what they mirror to us, what we mirror from what they depict, especially in mainstream media, what they say that we are. And we get a little bit of the truth, but it's not put on front. They put what they want to in front, the contributions of other groups. They put who they want to make free. Immigration come to mind. Who they want to give business opportunity to. So they get loans and run businesses. They're not smarter. They have the opportunity of our hardship and who we are and has been for centuries and hundreds of years. And this is what's going on. And then that we don't have is protection and not respecting in community and business camaraderie or power, allocated to power resourcefully, exchanging in capital. We don't have respect from people like the police and other groups. Don't respect something that the head doesn't respect. The body doesn't respect it either. Now you'll get respect somewhat because inside the body, it's a nature to respect people. But now, when it comes down to black people, that get turned off any moment and can say, and now can be said by magistrate and other, massively, oh, this happened, this black person was wrong because of not being anchored properly. So people say they can disrespect you, just like anything left open to exploit. We don't have to respect you. And these same people that are you running into or happen to not respect you are some of the same people that's inside the court calling the orders. That's fighting for you or so-called. Because of the way in which how we've been denied something. And that's why we're here to gain unit and then policy. And so now we got an organization that was built from our suffering that now given to other groups to continue our demise. Well, see, we knew it was going on. And what's so hard about it sometimes, we look at our family members with the gear on, Black Lives Matter gear, the shirts, the t-shirts, the hats, We look at the featuring in the downtown areas of Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I like to see myself featured in a powerful way. But I bet you they don't feature Malcolm X. We see that, and we see people co-op that other groups have been bought into it because they benefit from it. And this was meticulous. They did that from the beginning. But we figured this out a while back that it was meant to do that. But now it's raising the bar where it's blatant respect and it's gaining so much power blatantly. Where now you're offending my brother, the father of Michael Brown. While we was upset, you are offending our family. You're offending our society. Well, we are now also politics that serve other groups. We've been that far-shaped that we have to form Black Lives Matter. And now it's co-opted where you're serving other people that are anti-black and other people we know nothing about, but we haven't been served on any level, any type of protections. Nobody's took that money. They made $20 million in the year of 2020. And none of that resource have been allocated to our community, our spokespersons, or anything that's truly empowering or engineering our safety, or none of it. But when I play this for you, you're going to hear it from one of our news anchors and thought leaders inside our media apparatus, which we're designing. That's what we're here for, to call to order, to action, to call to anchor to our group, men and women and children. black people, men and women and children, to our media apparatus. That's what we've been doing for the last 5 to 6, 7 years. And it's really serious. We out here. We want our people to know that we are sincerely out here being effective. We're doing something. And the reason why people like Sharon Osbourne is being dealt with, reprimanded, and removed, and all of this is because of people like us. Vicky Diller from the Dr. Boyce. Shout out to Dr. Boyce Waskin. And Fly Nubian Queen. He also got the boss channel. And shout out to that. Because people like that are pulling apart our female opponents in terms of systemic racism, which is very dangerous. We don't understand. It's not just prejudice. When people have certain reigns, they can shape the idea of what causes you to be in demise. When you don't have an opportunity, you can lose your life. Folks can lose their way. And we know when black people are in privacy because of this denial. And privacy is adjacent to crime. We all know George Floyd tried to use, a fake $20 or something? Which I hate to even say that now, because what happened to him does not deserve saying anything about what he done on any level like that. He was murdered by the hands of authority, by force, and in such a heinous manner. And you're going to pay for that. Nathan already gave the family $27 million? You know what I'm saying? That's to shape something, to appease. We get it. This is the drill. Well, let me say this also. What now? We got people who are on an anchor to us, blood lineage, with credential. We have intellectual presence. We have passion, and we're calling the order unit. Don't forget that. It's keeping up with the code of conduct. It's not supposed to be every year. Every 4 years we go vote and get all together. No, we on policy. This is our everyday thing. This is our course of action. This is what we're normalizing. This is our normality. We're normalizing something. This is our eat. This is our food. This is our course meal to action every week, 3 and 4 times a week, from different sectors in our group, in our society, right? So what I'm saying is that Black Lives Matter, and I'm gonna put in the queue, what they done, and I'm gonna let Phil in the Advice Show. He was Phil in the Advice Show. Shout out to Phil in the Advice Show. Whereas though he had the African Diaspora channel now, he's articulating and showing the receipts of what Black Lives Matter have been distributing and how they receive their funding. And it's different sectors of the news has also concurred that it's not a canard, it's real. The Washington Times, who are owned by immigration, shaping things, and I'll talk a little bit about more what they're doing. They're shaping some other stuff. They're trying to shape the freedom of the police officer that committed the act against George Floyd also. These politicians, these overseats, these authority and capitalism control that you've denied to a people that deserve it. And now we're speaking to allocate our resource in a very sacred manner and sanction it to ourselves, changing successfully, so that we can clean ourselves up and not people benefiting from the death of black men, of myself and my children, in this political shaping, in this body, in this order of laws, in this body of laws, under this respectful legislative exchange that the United States parent to all groups except for black people which deserve it, that we which are deserving and fought and died for it. Oh, it stops here. We're not going nowhere. No, we call to order. We decree the action of sanctioned unit power, respect. That's why I'm here today. And thank you again. Touch the notification bell button, subscribe to my channel, and share your comments in the comment section. It's very important that we out here, and I'm thankful again. And I just wanted to break some stuff down about it. And it's some few news stories strike me, but Black Lives Matter is one main thing that really strike me today. And I'm going to do talks about everything. I'm going to share. So here's Black Lives Matter Fill in the advice show. I'm going to put it in the queue for you so you can understand what's really going on about Black Lives Matter, okay? Let me see if I'm in the right space.
Committee, and with Black Lives Matter grassroots. You see that? The Tide Center has tied all this in. So we're gonna talk about them, but let's talk about this money, because that's really what's the most important, right? So let's talk about financials. Now, they said
now what he's talking about now is people who donated to Black Lives Matter. And these financials are important because the dollar amount is safety. You know, we've been trained as black people out of it ain't all about money. Well, that's what we thought when we wanted to sit next to them in their lunch counters. Instead of building our own lunch counters, well, we don't have to sit next to anybody. No, I don't hate people, but I love myself. It is about money too. Money have a big sacredcy. A dollar, form unit first. Now it's not all about money because now we need unit. But then we get, yeah, right. But we have to breathe, we have to eat, we have to survive. And protections. From what we give money. And we pay taxes for protection. Nobody exists here without that kind of protection. Except for us. We do. We do. We have some of it. But we don't have it the way it should be given. We don't have it the way the country actually moves. And this is why we're going unprotected and harmed even by groups. Because we're not respected in the power sector. We're not respected in legislative order. Our constitution right not implemented, so that's going to tell the body we don't have respect for them. So police will kill you. You know, when the head doesn't respect you, the government itself, CEO style, respecting you, that's why we need to get policy and legislative order corrected in terms of what really needs to happen. But let me show you what happened when organizations have built something and what happened with Black Lives Matter, how we need to pay attention when they do this kind of thing. And how we need to call to order to unit to right here, right now. Here we go.
In audits covering fiscal years 2018, definitely do the work. Now, but prior to them doing this, there were local Black Lives Matter chapters that were saying the exact same thing. Say, hey, man, we spending our money out here. Yeah, what all these millions of dollars that these corporations were donating? Why aren't y'all passing this money out?
Oh, yeah.
So
I forgot to say the action that I should say whatever or legal rights. You know, this is feeling the African Director News. He's a public figure, and so he's a public figure, and so here the whatever call to action. Okay, there we go. So I can use this voice. Thank you.
We're gonna get to that now. If we put up this first slide here that we want to look at. It says, as you can read here, Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. Now, we're going to read this. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. It says the primary organizational outgrowth of the more decentralized Black Lives Matter movement. Now, you remember how a lot of times many of us will say Black Lives, we cool with Black Lives Matter, the movement, but not the organization? Well, that's the organization. Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. Now, they said they decentralized. In other words, anybody can say, hey, man, we Black Lives Matter. We going out there. Decentralized doesn't mean nobody control it. Anybody that's black, if they want to be, can be in Black Lives Matter, right? Yeah, so now continuing. It said it is a fiscally sponsored project, we talking about the organization, of the Tides Center, an affiliate of the Tides Foundation, a major left of center donor advised fund. Let's say BLM Global Network Foundation is affiliated with the Black Lives Matter PAC, or Political Action Committee, and with Black Lives Matter Grassroots. You see that? The Tide Center has tied all this in. So we're gonna talk about them, but let's talk about this money, because that's really what's the most important, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about financials.
The real protection.
They said in audits covering fiscal years 2018 and 2019, it's 1,000 currents. That was who they were before they switched to Tide Center, the names. Reported 2.6 million and 3.3 million respectively in donor restricted assets for Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. These audits also showed 83.3% of BLM Global Networks Foundation expenditures were for personnel, consultant, and travel costs during the 3-year period from 2017 to 2019, okay? While about 6% were for grants to outside organizations. And who are these organizations?
Interesting.
Including the local Black Lives Matter chapters. Okay, only 6%.
6%.
Now, we know we're missing some percent. So where's the mystery percentages at?
Right. Why?
And you basically saying operating costs for this is 83.3 million, okay? Now, they said prior to 2020, among the largest donors to the group, at least indirectly, was the Ford Foundation. In 2016, gave $100 million to the Black-led Movement Fund, a fund administered by the intermediary Borealis Philanthropy. The Black-led Movement Fund has in turn provided general operating funding to the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation several times since 2016. Now they mentioned that Novo Foundation gave $1.5 million. WK Kellogg Foundation gave $900,000. They mentioned all these different people that gave money. Okay, now they mentioned the Open Society Foundation, which is ran by George Soros, gave $33 million. Okay, so now this is what they're talking about here. Let's get to it. Why a lot of people are mentioning Black Lives Matter right now. Now in 2020. I'm reading here, they raised approximately $90 million. They said they incurred $8.4 million in operating expenses and dispersed $21.7 million in grants, spending on Get Out the Vote campaigns during the 2020 U.S. election. The total about $2 million. And the organization reported a balance of approximately $60 million after these expenses and grant disbursements. Now, who they gave the grant disbursements to? That's interesting. Let me read you some of these people. The Okra Project, TGI Justice Project, Take Birmingham, Trans United, Andre Lord Project, Trans Justice, Breakout Black Trans Circles, Transgender Law Center. It says Black LGBTQIA plus Migrant Project, Solutions Not Punishment Coalition, Marsha P. Johnson Institute, the Transgender District, Black Trans Travel Fund, For the Girls, House of Gigi, Highlander Center, Black Organization for Leadership and Dignity, East Chicago. They gave it to Partnership for Advancement of New Americans. That's interesting. Africans Rising, Haitian Bridge Alliance, Trans Justice Funding Project, Trans Housing Coalition, Homeless Black Trans Women's Fund, Black Trans Media, House of Pentacles, House of Tulip, Black Trans Films in the Arts, Brave Space Alliance, Black Visions Collective, Brooklyn Boyhood, BOIHOOD, and BYP 100. There's an overall theme to some of this money given. Now, Black Lives Matter. Y'all didn't give nothing over here. You did not pass a dime to African Diaspora News Channel. Why is that? We're black media. What's the problem?
Whoa.
None of the money is coming to anybody that's out here actually.
Did y'all hear all of the transgender support that's coming from Black Lives Matter? A movement that was built off unarmed black men, off the death of black men by systemic racism, police brutality. Did you hear how they're allocating their resources, how they're anchoring into immigration clubs and groups? Africans Rising, new people coming. That's basically like a DACA can come in there somewhere. The ALCU in Atlanta is also using the civil rights anchoring to protect immigration. This is what they doing. This is the Jedi mind trick. They're using the face of our pain to benefit and create a structure of power to allocate resources all around us with people who don't have the struggle, have not been harmed. They come here for the dream and use the resources. off of our pain and struggling. And transgender is, oh my God, this is a LGBT movement. This is a gay organization. The house of this, the house of that. These are movements. Transgender this, transgender. You heard this. So all of this, Black Lives Matter is taking all of its resources that was built off our pain and distributing it among these groups, among these organizations that has nothing, entirely nothing to do with us. Nothing. And have not allocated one resource to our suffering. We got the parent of a child that was killed. And Black Lives Matter built a movement off that's demanding respect from this unit right now. So we need to be aware of this. I have a group on Facebook called Community Awareness. It's called Linen of Contribution and Community Awareness. So I'm a person of awareness. That is my divine existence, to bring awareness to the people, to minister that awareness, to, minister in community. So we out here doing something, and what we're doing is very effective. It's very substantial to us and important, and we call to order our unit, our other black people, especially in rural places of this diaspora of the country, who don't know what's going on, who's actually wearing the t-shirts. Yes, I get it. You got them on because you're impassioned to how it was built, but you don't know how you're being exploited as a black person, scientifically. Politically, you're being exploited. You were never shaped for protection yet. And we call to order to that. That's why we build in unit at the grassroots and in the new voices of black media also. Shout out. We continue to build constituency, to fall in love with one another. Not that our children become a sponge to something that's going to be a harm to them. And that's how we've been shaped in the face of this media and the mainstream media. That's why we built a media apparatus where we all come here and we understand they have been using talking points in the mainstream media to demise what we're saying. But they cannot fight it off because it's too substantial. Black people, it's too substantial what we're doing. We've been effective. You are a sleeping giant as a black person. You have a resourceful potential. You're anchored here in a power source that you don't access that belongs to you. By law, by moral government, morality. You have a moral responsibility to stand inside a unit. In the presidents in which you are designed, you have a moral responsibility to understand who you are. And we have a moral responsibility to teach and to guide you, young men and women. As men in the community, as leaders, as people that want to grab hold to understanding, to respect, to real power as a unit. When we are a unit, we're designed that way. Policy is over your head. You, the United States, made race. If I'm with a family right now, I'm with my family. I may be named Harp, but if we the Griffins, we the Griffins. And we all in here together. We share in unit. We share in the financial institution. We build. We have respect. We allocate ourselves successfully. That's what it does. You're not built and be shaped without a unit. That's just not how we were created. The Creator didn't even create us like that. If you look up historically and biblically, we were never created like that, first and foremost. And black people have been left out the understanding. So it is my responsibility and other black constituents and the grassroots and other leaders and adults, also intellectuals, to teach and to imply, to decree. We're responsible as a moral compass, as a moral responsibility to actually relay this message and to build facility, and to anchor properly, resourcefully, to be given that which are sacred to us, to our safety and our freedoms. Safety and freedom. Understanding is freedom. Freedom is wealth. Wealth is safety. So we are protecting each other. We're here to protect. So subscribe to my channel and subscribe to these channels. Follow the content. Pay attention. So therefore you will understand what's going on. This is very real. I don't speak in opinions. I usually talk in facts, but this is factual. This is not the scientific facts of what happened. They're also stacking and trying to shape the laws for the police who murdered George Floyd. And it was shared through the Washington Times. And I'm going to come back and talk about that as well. I'm studying the social science, political science in book clubs. We're reading books. We're educating ourselves in order to anchor respectfully for the greater good in perspective and for real and even for occupation. Even for the fact that this is how we should be. Well, we've been left out of learning correctly. We are mirroring what they depict because it's a power source. They're running the media, never giving us the opportunity to anchor adjacent to power, to anchor in which the United States point to in our respect or what we should have. That 40 acres in the mule would have relegated a resource. And then when we did build it, like I said on my other talk, they tore it down because the government has never decided to respect and show its authority in our behalf. And they could, and they are going to. And that's why we're here. And so the Black Lives Matter can build institution inside our society full of immigrants and allocate our resources to gays for their organizations. Yeah, people need protections. They have a right. People have a right to be whatever sexuality they want to be. Whether you have a partner or a wife, it doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about. Not a homophobic conversation, not a xenophobic conversation. I can't be that anyway. But it's like, you have a right to that, but when it comes down to your safety, you also have a right. But you don't have a right as leaders in the society and as political lawmakers to deny, or as a movement to anchor in power and control and withhold resources from that which you benefit, and that's us, and allocate it resourcefully against other groups. No, you are going to be held accountable by magistrate. You're going to be held accountable by this unit the code of conduct. So we built a unit. So I want everybody to know out there, and our family members, especially in the rural areas, we are being effective. This unit is getting respect according to what needs to happen. And like I said, we are respectfully building this unit, code of conduct, so that we benefit. Okay? And that's our own media apparatus. And this guy that I just let you listen to, Phil and the Advice Show, he's part of the media apparatus. He's one of the reasons why I got throttled in, because I kept hearing him shape stories and giving us the right to articulate what should happen in these unarmed shootings of black men with authorities. He have thousands of stories of black people being harmed in terms of law enforcement and in terms of authorities wrongfully. So this is what Black Lives Matter could have donated to them. They don't. They did all this transition stuff. And I'm going to play a little bit of this, a little bit more, and I don't have much time, so I got to get out of here. But listen to this. It's the same thing, and next I'm going to do another talk on something else. But I'll play a little bit more of my brother here.
Actually doing the work at all. Just want to make sure to let you know I didn't get a dime from them. But all kind of people got money. It had nothing to do with police brutality, right? Because I hear nothing about police brutality. I didn't hear anything about getting brothers and sisters out of jail with this money. I didn't hear anything about getting laws changed, or you could, jail these race soldiers. But I'm hearing definitely an overall theme. I'm gonna let you guys in the comments say what the theme is, because I have to be careful on what I say here. If I was on my website, I would go in on it. But let's get to the Tides Center. Who is the Tides Center? So the Tides Center is a left-of-center nonprofit created to manage the fiscal sponsorship of its sister organization, the Tides Foundation. Both groups are part of the Tides Nexus of pass-through and fiscal sponsorship nonprofits based in San Francisco, California. Tootie Scott is the CEO of Tides, a position she held since approximately September 2019. They say the Tides Nexus has since grown to incorporate 8 nonprofits, including various supporting entities, investment management nonprofits, 501c4, advocacy group, and single controlling organization. Okay.
Now you see, so he's talking about this person who's running this. I just want you to hear this before I leave.
Tootie don't look like me, but Tootie's running.
This is Tootie
that's controlling Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. So as you could see,
they go Tootie, you all.
If you
run an organization.
This woman has a 30-year career.
Now I'm going to say this. The thing about it is, you are able to ally and partner as a society with us. I mean, in terms of your expertise, if you want to. This is what They have used that, we understand that, to put people in the face with these liberals organizing our the resources come from our pain to immigration, so to continue our demise. So pay attention and understand what to do. We call the order to action, and we decree an understanding that our people understand. We have to look at our people, wear this gear, and understand it is time to call the order. Take those shirts off. Black Lives Matter. Respect. Pay up, understand, respectful unit as we go forth. Thank you for joining me. I came to expose, came to talk a little bit. This is my channel. I'm King Harp. Subscribe, touch the notification bell. I will be back to discuss with you in discourse. Thank you.